Listen to Dr. Fauci, one of the most distinguished and trusted voices in the world. He's assured us the vaccines are safe. They underwent rigorous scientific review. We need everyone to get vaccinated. We need everyone to keep washing their hands, stay socially distanced, and keep wearing the mask as recommended by the CDC. If we do all this, if we do our part, if we do this together, by July the 4th, there's a good chance you, your families and friends will be able to get together in your backyard or in your neighborhood and have a cookout or a barbecue and celebrate Independence Day. That doesn't mean large events with lots of people together, but it does mean small groups will be able to get together.
Welcome to Chris and Jerry's Supper Club, an exclusive underground experience featuring casual and relaxed conversation, a wide variety of sophisticated entertainment, discussions about the latest conspiracy theories, and an occasional fish fry. Come on in, we're open for business. No reservation or membership required. And now, here are your hosts, Chris and Jerry. Come on in. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, thanks for the horrible flashback.
What a difference 5 years make. That was five years ago.
5 years and one president.
All right. Well, here we are. And I'm going to say hello to the camera because we were doing a recording. We haven't done one of these in many episodes. And I think this is the first one with the Supper Club actually filming it because we can now. We've got space. This is the new space. The last time we signed off, we were shutting down the old space. And now here we are 3 months later.
New man cave. But when I have to say there's a bit of a misnomer with your designation of this being an underground experience. Actually, we're quite overground at this point.
That's true. We are no longer in a basement.
Yeah, we're moving up in the world.
One story, 2 stories.
Oh, yeah. It's like George Jefferson.
So it's a little different vibe than what we've been used to the last 16 years, I'd say.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We were in the...
it was much more cramped. It was, your options were definitely curtailed.
Yeah. We were in a red light district, really. It was all red. And I thought that maybe with this new space, I would brighten it up a little bit. So this is sort of doubling as my workspace. I've got an office over there. Some of our memorabilia is on the other side of the camera. But before, all of that was jammed in like the space that we're sitting in. And there was no room. You got more room to man spread now than you ever have before. That's one thing.
Oh, yeah, that's very nice.
And I think it's a little more conducive to doing something for video now because we've got more of an easier on the eye kind of appeal. But anyway, I've always found it difficult to try to appease both a video audience and an audio audience. So I'm going to focus on audio, and whatever happens on video, and because I think audio is our key delivery.
That's true, but I mean, sometimes just watching how the sausage is made is actually can be quite fascinating.
Yeah, and
so to speak.
This isn't our best profile. I mean, it's like people are looking at us on the side.
I'm trying to suck in my gut as best I can.
Yeah, you're doing a great job there. Anyway, so we signed off at the end of April, and ever since then, I've just been living minimally. We've been downsizing, we've been purging, we've had garage sales, so we moved in from a single family home to this townhouse now, and we don't have a basement anymore. So we had a basement before, and half of it was the studio, but we had a crawl space and we had stuff I've been carting around since high school. And I have like a box of like career artifacts, all of my awards. The last award I got from work was like the year 2000. So like, what? Why am I holding on to this? Nobody's appreciated me in the last 25 years, and now I'm holding on to my only award from back then and great memories. It's like, why am I holding on to this?
Well, that's the thing about when you have to downsize, or when you have to get rid of things because of external circumstances. It does send you into something of a self-reflective, self-analytical mode. Because like, okay, why am I keeping these things? What do they mean to me? What's important to me? Especially the material things. What's the important material things? Which are not. And you just kind of start, going through an assessment of priorities.
Yeah.
What's important to you the most.
Right. So I had photo albums from many generations, my parents and their wedding. It's like, I can't get rid of this stuff, but I'm holding on to it. How often am I really going to go through this? My stepfather, who passed away a while back, I got his stamp collection, and I was told, oh, someday this is going to be worth something. Well, I shopped it around. I went to a guy that really specialized in stamps. This guy was probably in his late 70s, maybe even 80, and he knew what he was looking for. And he said, these collections were made with a lot of love, but they're not worth anything other than the stamps that they're worth, like the value, 20 cents.
Right.
He's like, he was looking for stuff from prior to 1920.
Oh, okay.
But I had Adolf Hitler stamps. I'm like, come on, these got to be worth something. In fact, he actually bought one album from me for $500 and had all these German like Zeppelin stamps, and I wish I had saved a couple of the Hitler stamps, because I would have actually mailed you your birthday card this year with Hitler on there, because they are taking them. They're worth whatever it says. So I used a lot of these stamps already.
How could that be legal postage in the United States?
Not the Germany stamps.
Oh.
But there were some United States stamps.
That was like, they were anti-Hitler, or they had...
I don't know.
Why would Hitler be on a United States stamp? I don't really understand that.
That's a good point. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were German stamps.
Yeah,
But I had lots. I mean, there was lots of historical stamps in there. I still have. Anyway, the guy gave it back to me, and I got a $500 check. Now, if he was really out to rip me off, he would have said, this whole collection here, I'll give you $1,000 for it. I can't give you any more. And he would have taken the whole thing. Then I would have known that maybe he could be worth a lot more, and he's going to give me $1,000. But the fact that he says, I don't want any of this. I just want this one album, and I'll give you $500 for it. Now that could have been worth a fortune, but it's like,
who's got the time to shop it around?
I don't have any time with this. I'm trying to get rid of this stuff, so I got a $500 check. So I ended up using it for some of the stuff in here. So
that makes sense.
So I want to give a big thanks to my son-in-law. So before I get there, so we moved to this place 10 days ago, and the movers were like, "You're never going to get this stuff. Like, you got a lot of stuff." He's dumping it all in this room, and wall-to-wall boxes. And I'm really I'm starting to second guess myself. Like, what did I do? How did I think? I measured everything. I have floor plans. I measured everything out to knowing exactly down to the album crates or where they're going to sit. It's got to work. How can this not work given it came from what we had before?
Which was smaller.
Yeah, it's got to work. Now, the only thing new was this desk. And I was thinking maybe I would not be able to bring the desk in here. It was going to take away from it. But it ended up working. So... Once my son-in-law put the new console together, I was able to then start loading it up, and it was starting to come together. And now we've got this nice conversational table that we never had before. We had almost like a card table.
Yeah, very dinky.
At best.
Very dinky.
It was a board sitting on two tables. So this is nice, and he drilled a little hole in the middle with the hole saw and cable management system. So really happy with it.
It almost looks professional.
Almost. Just enough to show that we're not making any money from this.
Are you? No, I want to cut.
Yeah, I'm working on it. And then we moved into the month of June, and Allie had her baby shower, which was a real success. She got pretty much set for the baby, coming in 2 months now.
Ooh, wow.
I know.
scary.
Yeah.
Obviously showing now.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you some pictures. She was here last night. She got to see the place for the first time. She was really happy with what came of it.
Cool.
Yeah, not much else to say about the move other than I'm glad it's over. I spent all of last week putting it together, and I'm back to work now. And I think I told you over text that I was almost ready to pull the ripcord on my job. Sometime, it was actually in May. I hit the rock bottom. I was like ready to walk away, and I'm actually getting very close to it. I'm looking for the right off ramp at this point.
The right off ramp. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. Possibly end of year. We'll see as it starts to approach fall and how it's going. But I'm ready to be done with it.
So you have a 401k?
Yeah.
Stuff. Okay, so you have that, and then of course you have a retirement plan, and then you have you can't really get to your Social Security until like at least 63?
62.
62.
But I actually worked out with my financial planner. He's like, we mapped it all out because there's like a trade-off. It's like you could either take it at 62, and which means you're not taking as much from your retirement. So you just kind of supplement it with that. But then there's also the trade-off of holding out. For every year you hold off, it's like an 8% increase.
Yeah.
And that's like forever. You can't like change your mind 3 years from now. You start taking it at 62. Don't say, I think I'm going to stop. I'm going to come back to it when I'm, full retirement age. No, you're stuck with that decision, and it could cost you into perpetuity with whatever you lock in at that lower amount. So he played the numbers out, and he actually said I would be better off waiting until I'm even 70 to start Social Security, that the retirement fund would be enough. Basically, I wouldn't run out before I was 90.
So
that
I'm trying to think. Your Medicare starts when?
65. So that's the only thing that's keeping me in the workforce is really the health care between 60 and 65. So, and so I started looking into all of the, call it Obamacare, the whole, whatever you call it, the ACA.
Yeah.
You get subsidies, but if you make more than a certain amount in a year, you're no longer qualified for the subsidies. And at middle of the year, I've already made that amount, so I wouldn't qualify. So the best time for me to quit would be the end of the year, and then stay below that limit next year, between retirement and a part-time job or something. I definitely want to do something. I don't want to just sit on my ass for the next 30 years. I want to keep busy. But what is that? What does that look like? I don't know. That's what I'm exploring as this next chapter.
I mean, you're pretty active in the church. Maybe you can get more active in the church, or you could find a non-for-profit sort of thing, help people out, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I want to do something of value. I'm tired of the 40 years of the corporate world is enough to say, you know what? I'm done with that. I want to do something more meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I just don't have the passion that I used to. And when I'm going through the motions at work, that's when I know it's time. So, like I said, I have to figure out when that off ramp is and take it. But anyway, sorry, I got down that path. I think it's just because of all these new beginnings. The move, going to be a grandfather, the whole job thing. I'm going to be 60, in October. So it's all playing on my mind as to what this next chapter looks like.
Who knows? But that would be up to you, and obviously Kim has a say in that as well, because it's going to affect her.
Well, yeah. Well, Kim will stay working with what she's doing now for. I think our plan calls for us both working until we're 62. But then my financial advisor said, technically, you could quit tomorrow and you'd be okay. I'm like, that's all I needed to hear. And then the next day I have this bad attitude at work. Like, I don't need this crap. Who are you talking to? Who do you think you're talking to?
Kiss my grits.
I feel like Ralph Cramden calling up his... He finds the money on the bus and he calls his boss. You are a bum. And then he finds out later that it's counterfeit and kind of burned his bridges with his boss already.
Yeah, well, that's kind of that guy's character. Always says something before he actually thinks about it.
Yeah. don't think I'm really impulsive anyway. So it's not like I'm just going to all of a sudden, flip the bird and do something I'm going to regret.
No, that's not your character.
Well, today's a big day. July 4th, 2026.
250. Happy 250.
200 years since the passing of John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, same day.
Oh.
Like
they died 50 years after the...
On the 50th, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they were writing letters back to each other, back and forth. And
Makes sense.
That Paul Giamatti series, John Adams, was actually pretty excellent. And there's the last episode where the two of them on their deathbed and they're communicating. It's a pretty powerful episode. It's really, really good.
Well, what I like about that, or I like about films like that, is it brings history to life, whereas you get the more dry facts and figures aspect, and that's never a great way to teach history. History, it's actually in the name of the word. History, story. The word story is in history.
Yeah.
And that's it, because it's the story of man. Story of humans.
Yeah.
So, especially the recorded story of humans, obviously there's prehistory, which nobody recorded, but so in teaching it, and by the way, that's how a lot of traditions from our more primitive past, when they transferred wisdom, they told stories, and somebody was the story keeper and the wisdom keeper, and they how can I put it? They transmitted that wisdom, and that knowledge informs that not only would be easy to remember in story form, but also in a way that would continue a legacy.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it's not just because I don't want to make it sound, because again, that's what I'm trying to say. It's not about being static and dry with just the facts, man, Joe Friday, just the facts, man. That sort of thing. It's about really visualizing, and so when you see something like that, the John Adams, Thomas Jefferson movie, and you see how they act out, you see the characters of the personalities of each of these prominent men, and the times they were in, what they were living in, what they believed in, as far as the prevailing philosophies, religions, what have you. How that affected their outlook on life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all part of it. It's a story. It's a story to be told.
His story. We're going to transition into the appropriate segment for the day. So just give us time to change our outfits a little bit, so to speak.
No dressing room here.
The 4th of July in 1974 was the one day a year your parents legally handed you explosives and walked away. Just a punk stick, a paper bag of fireworks, and the words, "Don't blow your hand off." That was the whole safety briefing. You started the morning at a parade. A fire truck, the VFW, a Shriner in a tiny car, and every kid on a bike with a playing card in the spokes to sound like a motor. Then came the backyard barbecue, where Dad stood over a grill the size of a Buick, wielding lighter fluid like a man who feared nothing. The potato salad had been sitting in the sun since 10 a.m. We ate it anyway. We were fine. Somebody's uncle had the good stuff from a stand across the state line, and by noon the whole cul-de-sac smelled like sulfur and freedom. You held sparklers, which, fun fact, burn at around 1800 degrees, hot enough to melt gold. They gave those to toddlers on purpose. The soundtrack was a transistor radio, a garden hose for the burns, and at least one bottle rocket fired horizontally at your cousin. And a little history for you. The 4th marked 1776, when we signed the Declaration of Independence, though John Adams actually thought we'd celebrate on the 2nd and figured we'd do it with fireworks forever. Nailed it, John. Then at dusk, the whole neighborhood dragged lawn chairs into the street and looked up together. No phones, no screens, just necks craned at the same sky. That's the part I miss. Not the burns, the together. Happy 250th birthday, America.
All right. A little product placement here for the camera. By Sam Adams. Very patriotic for today. Show is sponsored by Sam Adams.
All those fireworks, it's PTSD.
Oh.
Incoming! Incoming! So, that little description at the beginning was so accurate, it was unnerving.
Yeah, I took that audio from some AI video. You see these nostalgic AI videos that show, it's pretty good.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
Thanks. Sadly, though, there's a new poll, a new national survey from the Cato Institute.
Oh.
Where a survey of about 2,300 Americans ahead of July 4th and America's 250th anniversary finds that nearly half of Americans don't know what America's 250th anniversary commemorates. Just a little more than half, or 53%, correctly answered that it was the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. But other answers include the Pilgrims landing at Plymouth Rock, the ratification of the U.S. Constitution, the victory in the Revolutionary War, the first U.S. presidential election, the founding of Jamestown. I'm actually surprised that they're even this close. You know, usually they're like,
we won the Civil War.
yeah. You see some of these are like, really? They're running around in this country?
Unfortunately, yes. I thought it was when we introduced ranch dressing. I think that was the thing.
That was it, yeah.
That made us the country to be worshipped by the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's like, what was the start of America? And they're like, 1980?
If that were true, I was around before America was. I'm older than America. That's the thing.
We've seen more than 20% of our own country's history.
Oh, well, and the world history too, which is like it's been off the rails since the late '80s, to tell you the truth. You know, when the Berlin Wall came down and everything went crazy after that.
The same survey showed some key partisan differences.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of this part here.
76% Republicans are considerably more likely than Democrats. Republicans are considerably more likely than Democrats to say America remains a land of opportunity. 76 to 53. I'm actually surprised it's that high, because some of these surveys, I'm like, only 25% claim that they're proud to be an American. You know, Democrats versus 90 something.
I heard it was 30% of the Democrats, but
Something like that. Yeah. Republicans are more likely to base their personal identity on family, country, and religion, while Democrats place greater emphasis on race, gender, alongside national identity.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats are more likely than Republicans to believe that the 1619 Project's claim that preserving slavery was a primary reason for the American Revolution.
Don't see how that can be the case, because there are certainly people, especially with the founding fathers, who were very much interested in doing away with it. But they just, in order to coalesce all of the colonies to work together against the British and form this union, they kind of had to compromise on the whole slavery South thing, because in the North, by that time, slavery was kind of not an issue. But in the South, it was. So how do you bring these two groups together, or these two camps, if you will, the non-slavery, pro-slavery, and then because let's be honest, I mean, some of our founding fathers were slave owners. Thomas Jefferson, slave owner.
Yeah.
George Washington was a slave owner. James Madison, slave owner. So you know, how do you Also, people were getting really, upset about the fact that that was the case with the Founding Fathers. But if we look at the context, by the way, that's a thing that people, especially on the left, have a really hard time with is context, especially historical context. It's like their knowledge of history seems to be very abysmal unless it's like filtered through their, I don't know, I guess their left-wing professor's brain. They don't see it any other way. But the thing is that, like, for example, the 3/5 thing and all, it was a compromise in order to, keep the states together, but also not give too much power to the institution of slavery. Somehow we'll have it, but we're not, that's always been a thing until the Civil War. It was always a hot potato to talk about or to deal with.
Yeah.
So, but 30% of Democrats saying that they are proud of being from this country and the rest not. It's like, well, I don't know. All I have to say is, why aren't you buying a ticket? And
Yeah, none of them ever leave permanently anyway.
Yes, please.
Yeah, like Rosie O'Donnell, please don't come back. Or has she come back already? Is she back?
Who, Rosie O'Donnell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she is back? Okay. Sorry, I missed her.
Yeah, it's a lot to miss.
And finally, Republicans are substantially more optimistic about America's future, with 54% saying the nation's best days are ahead, while 44% of Democrats believe America's best days are behind it.
I disagree. You know the reason I disagree with that? Because America has, and it was something I heard Jordan Peterson say, an incredible ability to reinvent itself.
Yeah.
Other countries they're literally crushed by their own history. Our history and our view of history is so dynamic. Of course, it could do the fact that a lot of people that are younger don't even know our history, which is another story altogether.
Different problem altogether.
That's a different problem altogether. But the way our system worked, the way our country had a kind of a built-in, we didn't have the stratification and the compartmentalization. Like, all right, this group is here. Here's the nobles. Here's the commoners. Here's this, group of people, and they were all kind of separated. And this is, we don't have that. We had a lot more mobility socially and actually physically. People could start out and their family line was in New England, and then a couple generations later, they're big time people in California.
Yeah.
But that's what not only the largeness of this country afforded them, but it was the fact that there was the prevailing philosophy that you can remake yourself, you can restart, and the belief in that. And that's why, and it's still prominent, that's why we're doing well, and Western Europe is going down the toilet, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not to get too topical.
No, that's good. It's a little bit of history lesson to sprinkled in here. This is good. You mentioned Europe. Kind of reminds me, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Europeans that are here. The videos that are like all over the place of them.
The World Cup.
The World Cup, visiting the U.S. and all the sites, the restaurants, the Buc-ee's, and just being so overwhelmed with America. And number one, realizing that their own media has been lying to them for years, that America is actually great place to visit. It's nothing like we've been portrayed overseas.
Mm-hmm. I gotta tell you the truth, I was overwhelmed by Buc-ee's, so I can understand a little bit where they came from.
I still don't believe I've ever been to a Buc-ee's yet.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I know.
I only wish I had gotten a little stuffed Buc-ee's a keychain thing. But I did, and
you got the beaver nuggets for me.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed them.
I did, although I don't eat that anymore, but I appreciate it.
At the time.
I paced myself. I didn't just down the whole bag in one sitting.
Well, if you ever get to Buc-ee's, you'll have a wonderful selection of jerky to choose from.
Oh, yeah.
And
the brisket.
That's right. Keep
nice
your keto,
brisket.
Keep with your keto diet. But anyway. No, but yeah, that's a thing. But the other thing about it, too, with the European, I like it in this respect, not only because it feeds back to the Americans who, for the last 4 or 5 years, have been told how bad their country is by the media and all the talking heads and the experts and such. And they have to fight to keep, no, this country is good. It's something that we're fighting for, to believe in, and that sort of thing. And then for the Europeans, I think this could have a ripple effect. What I'm saying is that the Europeans said, well, if the BBC or Deutsche Welle or whatever their news source is over in Europe lied to me about this or lied to me about America in this regard or that regard,
Yeah, what else?
what else are they lying to me about?
Yeah.
What are they lying about? Like, there's also the other thing right now that's going on is a sort of a double whammy for the EU and those kind of people is that they're now having a really bad heat wave in Europe, and they don't do air conditioning. And part of it is because of all this green initiative. It's terrible to have air conditioning. You're ruining the planet. And they really believe that. And I think now, especially Europeans that have come here and have had the air conditioning and know how important it is, and it's a beautiful thing to have.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I think you're lying to us about that too. So
Yeah.
I think, like I said, this is going to have
ripple
enough
effects.
It's going to. I honestly think so. I think when I hear it's like they lied to us when the Europeans come and said they lied to us. It's like
Yeah.
See, now that's where it starts, and that's how I became the chief conspiracy correspondent.
That's right. You mentioned the air conditioning. It reminded me that actually today is the 1 year anniversary where we landed in London, and that was the beginning of my being personally violated. We documented that entire story on a previous podcast, but that was July 4th of 2025. But anyway, I remember being over there in the air conditioning. I mean, it was in July.
Mm-hmm.
And,
There was no air conditioning?
No.
That sucks.
It was very warm everywhere I went. So, anyway, I've been watching particularly the YouTube video of, I guess the channel is called Morhan and Alex channel. Mm-hmm. And it's just this British couple going through America and Canada, actually. Mm-hmm. Now, I think they finished a U.S. tour, but they were hitting places like Olive Garden and Cheesecake Factory and Cracker Barrel, Waffle House. But they weren't particularly fond of Waffle House, but the other restaurants, they were just amazed with the choice, the abundance, the leftovers, just the variety that we have.
Yeah, I don't think the doggy bag is a big concept in Europe.
No, they did not have the doggy bag as much.
Yeah, so that's one thing. And I think, I mean, all the places you mentioned are kind of, we consider them like middle range. We don't consider them like serious places to eat. I mean, they're nice for a quick meal or for like,
Yeah.
Get the family together for, if they don't make a big project out of it, go to a fancier restaurant. So you go to like the Olive Garden or you go to these other places, but I don't think anyone in this country would even consider it anything close to fine dining. But it seems like the Europeans come here. And I always heard the Europeans say, well, you don't have taste in this, you don't have taste in that, and your food, it's whatever. And it's like, well, now they're noticing, oh yeah, we do actually have really good cuisine. Even our average cuisine is pretty damn tasty.
Yeah.
And remember, this is a kind of a melting pot country, so if you want to find Italian, you're going to find Italian. You're going to find Asian, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And
variations of it, because we've had these influences over the years. And
then there's fusion stuff too. So literally, it's not only the amount of choice you have in a particular menu, it's the amount of choice you have in going to whatever restaurant you want to go to.
Right. Yeah, I was not overwhelmed by the London fare. The menu choices over there when I was there.
Pretty paltry?
Yeah, pretty much.
The fine tradition of having bland food. It's what the empire was built on.
Along with their outstanding dental work.
That's right.
Just another memory that I had. I was thinking back to the last big celebration of the bicentennial.
Yeah.
And as a 9-year-old kid, and you're older than me, I seem to remember a lot of patriotic activities going on. And maybe it was just being 9. You see through differently, and things maybe are more magnified than they really are. But it seemed like it was a bigger deal than this time around.
Yeah, it was, but I think the country, dare I say it, was less jaded than it is now.
Yeah.
Also, the complexion of the country was quite a bit different. Your ethnic composition.
That is true, yeah.
So when you kind of throw a lot more different ethnicities and more different, it kind of dilutes the social structure you had. And so people may be coming from, let's say, Iraq, or they're coming from Zimbabwe, or they're coming from whatever. Their viewpoint, I mean, it used to be, if you came to America, it's like, damn, I got to America, I'm doing well, I hit the jackpot, I'm going to make the most of it. Now it seems you're getting a fair amount of immigrants that just like, either they see this place as, the United States is just an economic to hit it, quit it, and maybe go back to the old country or whatever. Or they just, it's just a place for them to live and lay their head and make some money. But it's like, it doesn't seem to have that importance to them. That their previous generations who came here really felt they were very fortunate to be here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And as somebody who is the son of a war refugee, I can certainly appreciate the fact of what this country has to offer. Ironically, the war refugee, a.k.a. my mom, didn't. She, for some reason, had an attitude about America. It's like, well, you could have grown up in the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Because that's what she would have been part of. And, you would have Brezhnev telling you when you could brush your teeth. If that's what you like, I guess. Cool. But I never understood that. I never understood people who could be a lot worse situation coming here and still have an attitude about being here.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
And the thing is, and I'm seeing in these videos, and I'm talking about people not necessarily from like Eastern Europe or some other kind of more faraway place, like, oh, I'm so glad I give my right whatever to live here and all that. I'm hearing like British people, like, so you're saying like these aren't like countries that are like backward or had this horrible history of civil war and stuff, like Somalia. Well, we're talking about the Somalis, that's another story, but that sort of thing, they haven't had that sort of thing happen, but they're still saying, oh, I heard that people don't like America. It's like, hey, if you want to switch, I'll take your place.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the attitude to have.
That's right. Do you remember in 1976 the whole Hands Across America thing?
Was it? I thought that was in the 80s.
Well, you're right. Most people remember the 1986 version of it, but the first one was in 76. But the reason why it didn't... See, I remember it because I was part of it. I'm like, oh, wow, we're joining hands and we're like connected from California to New York. Well, I did some research on it today just to freshen up. It's like, did that actually really happen? And apparently, it fell apart pretty quickly. There was not enough participation to do it. There were too many gaps. In fact, it pretty much fell apart outside of Chicago. So the fact that I remember it is true because it was in our area, but it was like it broke apart. So they couldn't raise enough money, didn't have enough attendees. It says instead of stretching across the country, only about 8 to 10 miles of connected participants formed, mostly around Chicago. In order to make it a true coast-to-coast chain, it would have taken roughly 10 to 12 million people, depending on the route and spacing between participants.
So that means the 86 one didn't really work out either because they didn't get that many people, did they?
No, but it did grow. It drew 5 million participants, which was but it wasn't enough to create an unbroken
chain
line. Yeah, across the. And I think it was all tied with hunger and poverty, and which was kind of a big thing in the mid '80s anyway, the whole Live Aid
and the Ethiopian famine.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, as a 9-year-old, I'm like, oh, wow, we're all connected across the country. Like, I didn't realize it didn't really go much beyond the Midwest, Chicago even.
Yeah. Well, it was the thought that counted.
That's right.
But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that's been happening in the past month or so, and I think what's happening in this period of time is going to have, as I said before, a knock-on effect, because a lot of people are going to have had experiences now. They're going to make them reassess. Like when you moved and you saw all the stuff you had, and you're like, what am I going to do with this? And you have to then go through an assessment of what's important, and you know what, I think people are going to be making kind of that similar thing when they've been in America and they've had those experiences of what America is, and what they were taught to believe before that, and then just the things that will be happening to them once they go back, and then they're like, why can't we do it like they do it there in America? Why can't we be more like this? And it's not that we want to make Europeans be Americans. That's otherwise kind of silly, because then you go to Europe and it's like, oh, it's just like America.
Yeah.
But there's things about our lifestyle. We got problems too, but things about our lifestyle that we take for granted that are revelations to other people. And I'm talking Western European people. I'm not talking, like, again, African or Asian or whatever. It's like, holy cow. I bet the only thing I could say that I think, especially from the consumer aspect, that another nation probably has over us is the convenience stores. Japan has the most bad, from what I've seen anyway, the most bad. Well,
badass.
Okay, I can say that. Okay,
you're on a podcast. You're okay.
Okay, well, I wanted to kind of keep it clean, but
sure.
The most bad convenience stores. Also, here's a fact: 7-Eleven is now owned by Japan. It's not an American company anymore. And their 7-Elevens are like, you can buy a full course meal there and be actually really pretty, and have all these different options for different drinks and stuff, that when you see that and you go to the average 7-Eleven around here, it's like,
yeah.
But luckily we have Buc-ee's, so that's at least part of the country has Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I think we only got like 6 or 7.
Yeah. No, there's...
Oh, they're more than that. 13, I think.
I went to one in Kentucky. To one.
Yeah, that's a new... Yeah.
Yeah. I was tried to visit one in Tennessee, but it wasn't... So I had to go out of my way to go to that one, so I went to the
We need to have them expand.
Yeah, we definitely... Well, I heard they were going to expand into Wisconsin, but something happened.
I heard Wisconsin too.
And that
no, they fall through.
So the thing is, so they have these, the Lawsons and Family are the other ones, and they just you can just, so many things you can do at the 7-Eleven too, like, pay your bills at the 7-Eleven, just so many things that those convenient markets have. And it's actually throughout Asia too, not just Japan, that we're behind on that. But that's about the only thing I could think of that's really something we could improve on, and at least in a consumer standpoint.
Yeah. You mean convenience stores?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our convenience stores could definitely use an upgrade. That's what I'm saying.
Finally, just one random topic. Has nothing to do with any of the theme. In fact, it doesn't really belong here, but I just saw it today. I thought it was interesting, and I remembered, I think I made this prediction about 40 years ago, and it has completely come true. And I thought it was coming true a couple of years ago when ABBA did their
virtual tour.
Yeah, they did that. It was sort of in that same technology as what was that Tom Hanks thing with the train, the Christmas movie?
The Night Express or something?
Yeah.
Something Express. The North Pole Express?
Yeah,
Polar
Express.
Polar Express, yeah.
Yeah, where he acted out the part, but he was like all wired up, and they converted him into like an animatronic computer. But ABBA did the same thing. They did an actual concert, but then they showed their concert.
But those were, I think, actual holograms.
They were,
whereas I don't think the movie was quite the same.
That is true. It's a little different, but they were connected to these nodes, and they were just moving around and really playing. But the computer picked it up, and it was obviously more advanced than Polar Express that come out 15, 20 years ago. But anyway, Elton John is the latest to sign a massive multi-million-dollar deal to perform as a hologram after death. So back in 2018, Elton John said he did not want a hologram touring the world after his death. Said that posthumous digital performances were spooky and only would happen if like everybody in his circle went broke and they needed to get back on stage. But now he's open to the idea. He has reportedly signed a 7-figure deal to do something remarkably close. Here are the details. A hologram-style residency at the new Hard Rock Hotel in Las Vegas, reportedly targeting a 2027 opening. It's not even dead yet. Better watch it. Performances to be filmed at Pinewood Studios in Buckinghamshire. then processed into lifelike digital avatars. Dua Lipa and Kiki D are reportedly featured along Elton in a holographic form. Oh yeah, ABBA Voyage. It's more advanced than that, which itself used motion capture and real-time CGI, not actual holograms. So I remember talking about this. We were joking that back then Rolling Stones were still going on and on. It's like the 90s or something. Like, man, these guys are going to go forever, and even afterwards, they're just going to, all they have to do is make a hologram out of them and just have that tour around the world, and and here we are. In our lifetime, we're going to see the actual performer,
Ghost performers
out there. I thought that was interesting.
Well, that's why I'm kind of glad I don't really go and
don't see concerts anymore.
Yeah, not only because it's ridiculously prohibitively expensive. I mean, I remember seeing Bruce Springsteen back in the early 80s for the ticket was less than $20.
Oh, yeah. Well, during my whole purging of going through old boxes and things, I saved all my concert stubs over the years. And yeah, $15 concert tickets to these performers that are charging $200 now.
Yeah.
For a basic ticket. Shame on them.
Well, yeah. And it goes up from there up to like over 1,000 and stuff like that. It's like, what are you offering, especially now that you're in your later years?
Yes.
That's better than what you were offering when you were in your height and your prime and you had your full energy behind you.
Yeah.
But the only thing that could be better at this point, and I think that was really brought home, was when we both saw ELO.
Mm-hmm.
And the sound in that concert, it was like literally I felt like I was sitting in my living room with some of the best speakers you could get.
Yeah.
And that would be about the only thing that would be better. But mind you, let's be honest, especially with somebody like ELO, Jeff Lynne doesn't really move around too much. So
he doesn't. He's not the performer.
He's not. No, it's not his thing.
No, he was there to represent his catalog and really skilled musicians being able to carry it out.
Yeah, and they did a great job. And I mean, because obviously none of the original ELO was there.
Right.
Some of them are dead.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't have been possible. So, but still, charging what they charge now. I mean, the only thing is, maybe the overhead's more expensive now than it was back then. So like the roadies are more expensive, the equipment's more expensive. Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of, insurance, whatever you might need.
Yeah, I don't get.
But other than that, I can't see why you would be charging so much extra.
Right.
Like literally 10 times what you were charging back in your prime.
Well, that's why these tribute bands are doing so well. Some of them sound amazingly close to the original, and you can get a ticket for $40.
Right. You go. There's like local theaters, at least in our area, you can do that.
Yeah.
And actually, I saw a band that isn't specifically a tribute band, but they're a cover band that does a really good job, and they're actually from Russia.
Uh-huh.
Leonid and Friends, and they do Chicago covers, and I swear, if you put Chicago today next to Leonid and Friends, you'd want to hear Leonid and Friends. You wouldn't want to hear today's Chicago.
Yeah.
So, and they had one guy. He was a guy from the Ukraine, so unfortunately he wasn't able to come to the United States when they toured. He sounded so much like Peter Cetera, it was scary.
Mm. Yeah.
So that does exist, yeah. And you're going to find people that can do like a really good cover of Led Zeppelin or the bands that you really wanted to see. I'm actually looking forward. I think there's a thing coming up in Rosemont here, which is a suburb here of Chicago, and they have kind of an open free performance thing, and they're going to have a Bee Gees tribute. I'd like to see that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did see a Bee Gees tribute band coming around.
Yeah. The thing is, never think, well, you want to hear some disco. No, man, there's so much great songs that people don't know about.
That's just a sliver of their career.
That's it, like a third at the most.
Yeah.
And really great songs from the 60s and early 70s that people have forgotten. But yeah, so that's a thing. So you get to see whatever your flavor is. If you're in more hard rock, there's a tribute band for that. If you're into yacht rock, because we were both listening to yacht rock earlier.
Yeah.
You got that too.
Yeah, well, my daughter son-in-law told me about yacht rock. I'm like, what's that? I never heard of it before. I didn't realize it was a term. I didn't realize it was a genre that they're all getting into now. And Christopher Cross and
Player. You were playing Exile.
Exile. I would kiss you all over. As Jerry's coming into the train station, picking him up after not seeing him for 3 months. Playing some Exile on my speakers, yeah.
Hey, if anything can bring back Pablo Cruz's career. I'm
Pablo
all for it.
Cruz.
So,
Mr. Cruz.
Mr. Cruz. But so that was good, but there's all that availability out there. The thing is, and that's one of the, I guess, what things about that's great about capitalism. If one part goes AWOL, there is something that can come in to fill the gap.
Void. Yeah,
fill the void. It's like, okay, I can't watch the Rolling Stones because I can't put $1,000 on a ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, but there's this Rolling Stones tribute band, and they do a damn good job. Oh, I'll see them for 50.
Yeah, like the tunes. Go out for a night, close your eyes, imagine that you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Is it suck that to have a substitute? Yes and no. Because there's also, when you go to see them at these smaller theaters, you're going to have to worry about being stuck in some sort of mudslide parking lot.
Trying to get out.
Making a reference to a particular incident from years ago.
And sadly, as the years go by, that's really your only choice to see some of these bands. It would be in tribute form.
I mean, were you going to want to see a Justin Bieber tribute band? I don't think so.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, no.
Yeah, I think my concert days are pretty much over, at least from the veteran days, the classics.
Yeah, well, you did see Echo Smith, and they play smaller theaters because they're a smaller band.
Yeah.
But actually, they put on a really good show, too. So it's like...
Smaller shows, I exclude that from my no more... The big arenas and the stadiums, that stuff, I think is pretty much over for me. Mm-hmm. There's like nobody that would bring me out to want to go through that experience again. Mm-hmm. I've done enough. As I was going down my memory and looking at all my concert programs, I had boxes and boxes of concerts. I still actually have them in the garage, which is another story. We're not completely done unpacking. I mean, it looks like we're pretty much settled in, but I still have a half a garage to unpack, because only one car can get in the garage right now. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going to happen to that stuff. But anyway. Well, I think it's time for us to close out, and we can go celebrate the 4th a little bit more. Thanks for tuning into the Supper Club, and we are grateful that you're checking us out.
Till next time.
Till next time. Thanks for coming out, Jerry. We'll get back together again very soon in the new space. Looking forward to making some new memories, because that's what really... this place doesn't have those yet.
We have to imprint those on you. We have to print our energy into the space, man.
That's right. We got a whole history that we have left behind, but we can build it up again. We can do it. We can rebuild him.
Make him stronger, faster. You know why? You know why we can do that? Because this is America, man.
That's right. We're always reinventing ourselves.
God bless it. Happy 250.